First up, we have Blade Master Samara, a 4 mana 1/6 rush frenzy, deal damage to all enemy minions equal to this minion's attack. Now, as a base 4 mana 1/6 rush frenzy, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions, I don't think it's a good card, but it does have potential if it gets buffed. Now, you can either buff it via like a hand buff or after you play it and before you swing with it with its rush. Now, the only challenge for this card is that it's not a good standalone card, and you do have to have that extra support to try to get it there. Now, I don't think it's an inherently super powerful card, and it also has the restriction that if your opponent plays a friendly minion, you have a potential downside to trigger their frenzy if you don't deal enough damage to it. Um, I should also say the frenzy keyword, if you haven't heard, is whenever a minion first takes damage since it's been played onto the field and survives. So this has to attack into a minion that has a less than 5 attack, and then you get to deal 1 to everything. Um, if Dude Paladin does end up becoming a deck because we have got cards revealed that makes it seem kind of all right. Lothraxion does put shields on everything, and this would be an effective way to get rid of like mass divine shield boards, but that's not really something you have to worry about. Just a second thought about the card. But all in all, I don't think it's super. It's a super great card. I don't think it'll see much play, if any. Moving on here, we have Chain Lightning, the first rank spell we'll talk about. Now, the rank spells have 3 different ranks, 1 to 3, and they all get ranked up depending on your mana, and it's anything once you hit 5 mana and 10 mana. So 5 mana will go up to rank 2, 10 mana will go up to rank 3. Pretty self-explanatory. Now, as a base, Chain Lightning is a deal 2 damage to an adjacent minion and a random adjacent one. Now, on turn 2, dealing 2 damage isn't necessarily bad because there is 1 mana 2/2s in the game, and if you're playing like a control matchup or something, you could just have the 2 damage to get the quick sniper Rooski off. Um, but the fact that this comes with the random adjacent one is what would give this card the most problem. Now, once you hit 5 mana, it does become the rank 2 version, which is deal 3, and then once you hit 10 mana, the rank 3 would be dealing 4 damage. Now, the adjacent minion part of the card makes it kind of annoying because there's going to be times where you have it rank 3 maybe, you've dealt damage to cards, you can kill one, deal access damage to a high value target that you also want to kill after you kill the middle guy, but it goes the other way. It's like a quick ha psych you suck moment. So for that alone, it might be kind of annoying. It does have the nature tag, so that can make the card better. But as a base card, it might see control for some like anti-aggro tool if we don't get a lot of them in Shaman. But I don't see it being a necessary card. I think it might be included in some lists, and then other lists are like, it's not strong enough, it has the downside, we're gonna cut it. So moving on. Now, Brucan, good enough. 4 mana 5/4. Nature spell damage +3. Now, Chain Lightning, it was a nature card. So if you end up playing Brucan on 4 and then 5, this goes to deal 3 and then 3 to an adjacent one. Now it's dealing 6 because of the nature spell damage. Now, this is kind of shocking because the fact that it's a 4 mana 5/4 means it's a decent stats for the cost. And then you're getting 3 spell damage, which is inherently high on a minion, especially when they have good stats to cost value. And then to add on to that, there's no negative downside for the card. So you're just playing a good card on curve with a huge upside if you end up having a nature spell. So I can see this card being thrown into decks a good amount. Now, Blizzard has already said that some old cards that we already have in standard will be getting keywords. So the more nature cards we get, the stronger this gets. But I think it's going to be included with any deck that runs nature cards. So I think you'll see it, especially day one and then hopefully down the line because I'm a Shaman fan myself. So we'll see where it gets us. So next we have a 2 mana 2/3 Peon. Now in the past, 2 mana 2/3s that do something have usually been good. So this one is Frenzy, add a random spell from your class to your hand. Now this inherently does get stronger with the class, depending on the access that class has spells to, but I don't think it plays towards any singular game plan. I do think it's kind of nifty for potentially Mage because you can ping it yourself. If you play it on two, your opponent doesn't really do anything. You don't want to deal one damage face. You'd rather deal one damage to him, get a free spell than attack face. So that's pretty interesting. And also on 2 mana, there's pretty good odds that he's probably not going to get cleared cleanly. They might end up trying to do like some value trade with one drops and stuff like that. So I think more often than not, his frenzy ability will go off, but then you're still banking on, hey, did I get a good spell? Should I have just ran a better card in place of this than just getting small tempo early game and getting a shit spell? So I only see this really being played in maybe a control deck that can abuse its add one and then get a 2/2 on board, or in a deck that really just needs to slot in a 2 drop because you're trying to go tempo, but the class doesn't have great tempo. And all in all, it's a solid neutral card. I'll give it that. Moving on, we got Man Crook. 3 mana, 3/4. Battlecry, shuffle Mancrook's or Battlecry help Mancrook find his wife. She was lost. She's somewhere in your deck. So this shuffles Olgra, Olgra, Mancrook's wife into your deck. It's just another one of those cast when drawn cards. So I'm pretty sure you do draw a card after this, but when drawn, you summon a 3/10 Mancrook who immediately attacks the enemy hero. So as a base 3 mana 3/4, it's decent stats for the cost, but you have to wait for Mancrook, the hatred. If there was a God World where you played this on 3, next turn you draw the wife to summon the hatred Mancrook, then it's not bad at all. But the fact that you might have to wait 10 turns down the line for it to be good could hinder this card a lot. But then at the same time, on turn 3, you got good stats for the cost, and you randomly got a 3/10 that's going to deal 3 damage. Um, I don't think it's horrible. I also don't think it's an auto include, but some decks striving for a 3 drop might just run it. Moving on, we got Razormane Rider. 5 mana, 5/6. Frenzy, attack a random enemy. Now, this is good just due to the fact that you can potentially give it rush. Now, if you can find a way to deal 1 damage to it and it would avoid all enemy minions somehow, it would hit 5 face. If not, you can call it charge because it's going to hit a random enemy minion. But I personally don't think it's that great. First of all, it has to survive damage, which it usually does because it's a 5/6, right? You usually taking 2 trades with this unless they have really big minions. But I just don't see it being great because maybe sometimes he gets attacked, throws himself into something, kills himself without dealing with any issue. Um, Now it could be said that it's good just because it's inherent double trade, right? Like if he doesn't get messed with, you attack into something, frenzy, boom, he attacks something else, or even potentially face. That alone makes it pretty good. But I think it's about an average card, right? I don't think it's good enough to see play um, in a lot of decks. But if you're going for some frenzy, aggro, shenanigan, mid-range deck, I could see it being included. And then there's just Mage. I think Mage works really well with frenzy cards just because if need be, they can just ping it for 1 damage and trigger its frenzy effect. But as a base, 5 mana, 5/6, pretty much do nothing right when it's played. Doesn't seem like the strongest card, but I've been wrong. So we'll move on. This one I think is pretty strong, but it also has its own downsides. So 1 mana, 1/3, Scale Raptor. Now 1 mana, 1/3s are notorious for being amazingly statted 1 drops. Now this goes over the edge by pushing it a little more and adding the beast tag. Now we did have a 1 mana, 1/3 beast with no effect, Dire Maul, and it was a good card. It was played in aggro decks, some tempo decks, right? It's just been time and time again where we've been proven that 1 mana, 1/3s are strong. Now this comes with the other benefit of Frenzy, so when it survives damage, shuffle a Sunscale Raptor into your deck with a permanent +2/+1. Now, this does stack, right? So if you play Sunscale Raptor, shuffle a 3/4 Sunscale Raptor into your deck, draw it, it dies, and you get a 6/5 Sunscale Raptor into your deck. Now, the only thing I don't like about its ability is if you shuffle it into your deck and you're not drawing it immediately right after you shuffle it, it's going to become a hindrance of a card. Like, say you get 1 mana, 1/3, you play this, you can test their 1 drop, they knock into this, it shuffles the buffed dude into your deck, and say it's like 5 mana turn, 6 mana turn. You're drawing a 1 mana freaking 3/4, right? That's not what I would want to be drawing. I would rather be drawing 5 mana cards, 6 mana cards, more banger for my buck cards, and I think that this can potentially pollute that pool of what you're drawing. So not the best, but the fact that it's just a 1 mana 1/3 beast, in my opinion, is great. I'm not super sold on the frenzy fact about it, but if you can manage to frenzy it, top deck the next one on turn two, frenzy it, and then you're a god and top deck it every freaking draw. It's a really strong card. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next one. This card, I think, is a really strong contender in this upcoming format. Druid of the Plains, 7 mana, 7/6 rush, frenzy, transform into a 6/7 Kodo with taunt. Now, we do have a. What is it called? What is that really broken class? Demon Hunter. We do have a Demon Hunter card that's a 9 mana, 9/1, if I'm not mistaken. Rush, it always dies, attack, death rattle, summon a 5/9 with taunt. Now, that card's a strong card, like by itself. The only thing that sucks about that card is it is a 9 mana card, and you can't do anything with that. So with Druid of the Plains, it's kind of the same thing. So you're gonna be able to drop this, potentially kill a minion. It survives, unlike the other dude, Death Rattle, but it value trades something. Then you get a big 6/7 with taunt, and that's a big taunt body, right? So I think it's going to be a good card, especially if you get into the 10 mana slots where you can play a 3 mana, 2 mana card beside it to potentially either make it stronger or just give your overall turn a better feel. It just makes this card even better. So I think this is a. I am not doing star ratings yet, but I would give it a strong 4, maybe 5 stars, because I feel like there's going to be a Druid deck that plays this card, and every time it gets played, you're going to be like, did he just value trade and then summon a huge taunt? And the answer is going to be yes. He shit on you. Literally shit on you. Now, we'll go to the next one here. Imp Swarm, another rank card. I'm not sold on this one either. So the rank cards to me are pretty iffy because, like, since they have these gradually getting bigger effects, their base effects aren't the best. So to start off, you're going to have rank 1, 2 mana, summon a 3/2. Then you get to 5 mana, goes up to rank 2, summon 2 3/2s. Then you're going to go up to 10 mana. Then you're going to get to rank 3, summon 3 3/2s. Now, I don't see this being strong per se, but you never know what zoo decks can do, right? But the only thing that isn't good is the base form of this card. Now, 2 mana 3/2 do nothing isn't strong at all, especially in today's Hearthstone. Even just playing a 2 mana 3/2 minion isn't strong at all, honestly. So I don't think this card becomes strong until you're playing a 2 mana summon 2 3/2s. And in that aspect alone, the fact that you have to wait till turn 5 for this card to potentially come good, it's not the best. Now, I will say that there is the potential for Zoo to just have a 2 mana 3/2 card that is decent in the fact that you're trying to get a board with stats and keep going. And in mid game, when they're just drawing and trying to keep overloading the board, they can play a 2 mana summon 2 3/2 imps, which helps them get wider, push more pressure. If they end up getting those late stages, which they end up do sometimes, I feel like a lot of games end around, I'd say the 7 mana slot. So that aspect might push this card into some archetype, but I also don't think it's like below my mind strong. So we'll just move on to the next one. Nothing crazy here. It's a pretty simple card. Spirit Healer. Yet another not exciting card. So 4 mana 3/6. After you cast a holy spell, give a random friendly minion +2 attack. Now it can hit itself. I just don't think it's worth the epic, right? We do have a light steed, which is pretty similar to this because it's anytime you heal, so it's probably better because a lot of holy spells are going to be in priest, and they're probably going to heal you, right? Because we saw, well, we haven't seen yet. It'll come up in another video, but there's a 0 mana holy spell that heals, right? So we're gonna say that most of them heal, but in that aspect, why not just play light steed to where you can buff stuff if it's healed regardless of it being a holy spell, right? Like even your hero power buffs something. But the fact that Lightsteed didn't see play, I don't think that Spirit Healer is going to see play in the slightest. Now, there might be a world where you play Lightsteed, Spirit Healer, you go in, right? Like that's the entire build of the deck, but it's not convincing me in the slightest. So moving on. And here's the card we were just talking about. 0 mana, holy, restore 5 health to each hero. We do have flash heal, 1 mana, heal 5, right? So this is drop a mana, you're still healing 5, but now you're also healing the opponent. It's 0 mana, which is inherently good, right? We've seen 0 mana cards time and time again prove their worth because doing stuff for free is just good. But I don't see this card being good out of any deck that's not niche or, hey, I'm trying to combo, right? Now, yeah, I just don't think it's good, right? We never played Flash Heal, right? Or anything in that aspect. The only card that we did play that really healed, from my memory, is Greater Healing Potion, and that was a heal 12. And healing for 12 was a lot. It was a 4 mana card, but regardless, heal 5 isn't really pushing this card. And then in the decks that you want to heal, you're not particularly looking to heal your opponent because those decks are control decks and they have hard time pushing out damage to late game anyways. So the lower you can get them with your chip damage can kind of add up, especially versus Rogue, who generically doesn't have ways to heal up their cards. So unless there's some niche combo I can't see, some Gadget Sand Priest thing, I don't think this card's ever going to come up. You'll probably never seen it played unless someone randomly gets it off a Spellweaver or something like that. And even then, it kind of sucks because you got a 0 mana heal your opponent. So that's bad. This is, in my opinion, going to be a strong card. Now, Kazakus, 4 mana 3/3. We have had a Kazakus in the past, and he's very similar to that, but different deck restriction, right? So Battlecry, if your deck has no 4-cost cards, build a custom golem. Now these golems are just like the old one. You get 3 things are going to pop up. You're going to get to pick between a 1, 5, and a 10-cost golem. So the restriction is you have no other 4-cost cards in your deck. Now we have seen the princes potentially played in some decks where, hey, I don't have a lot of 4-drops. Let's cut the 2 4-drops that I do have, and then we'll play this prince. Or now it's, hey, we'll play Kazakus, right? Now, what's really strong about this card is 4 mana 3/3. Then you get to build a golem for 5 if you don't have a turn 5 play. Now, the golems, from what we've seen, I don't have a picture of it, but you're going to get to pick a keyword and an ability. And from the one that I saw, it was, because they've only released one, it's a 5 mana 5/5 taunt, Battlecry, draw 2 cards. So that alone is strong, right? You're going to draw 2 cards from it. Taunt. Now, you might be able to pick other stuff, right? If you can pick Rush, that's going to be crazy. If you can pick like a Battlecry deal damage somewhere, or Battlecry heal, Divine Shield maybe for a big sticky minion. He's going to be really strong. And not to mention that, hey, we can get huge 10 mana cards, right? If the 5 mana cards are drawing 2 and taunt, imagine a 10 mana 10/10 taunt, draw 3, or 10 mana 10/10 Divine Shield, deal damage somewhere, right? I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I'm going to try it out. Day 1, we're trying it. So for the last card on our list, we have Primordial Protector. I am super fond of this card too. Mana 6/6, Battlecry. Draw your highest cost spell, summon a random minion with the same cost. Now, Mage does have a card that is 8 mana, summon an 8/8 elemental, and then repeat it for every elemental that you've played the previous turn. So I think that an elemental mage might pop up because of this card. Because if you're going 8 mana 6/6, draw that 8 mana spell, so you're summoning an 8 cost card, there are already two threats you got to deal with. Then they deal with that. The following turn, you're playing 16/16 worth of stats from your 8 mana spell. You still have 1 mana left over to potentially do something. Not sure what you're going to do, but potentially something. But it's going to provide this constant pressure. Now, outside of Mage, this is just an 8 mana 6/6 that is going to get a big body, right? Um, Say on average, your highest cost spell in your deck is 6 mana, right? So not huge. An average 6 mana card is, we'll just say 6/6 in stats, right? So you're playing an 8 mana 12/12. Like, it's crazy. It's good. It's just a bomb card, and you're getting to draw on top of that. Now, personally, I think this card's going to be played. I feel like if you're going to be playing a control deck, this is it. Like, this card is going to be in that deck. Or even if you're playing a mid-range deck where you're capping out at like this is your highest cost card in your deck to finish the game, but your highest cost spell is only like 4, right? Maybe it's a the blessing card give your dudes +4/+4 attack, right? You're still summoning a 6/6, and then you're getting a random 4 drop. And if we're just gonna say 4/4 is the stats for a random 4 drop, okay, it's crazy. It's still an 8 mana 10/10, which has to be dealt with two separate bodies. I have high hopes for this card too. We'll just go backwards and do a quick recap. Strong card, in my opinion. Strong card, in my opinion. Crap card. Crap card. Has potential, right? I, uh, I can't say it's crap. I can't say it's super good. This is a time will tell. Druid of the Plains. It's going to be a great card. 1 mana 1/3 beast. Potential upside or potential downside. We'll leave it in the we'll see category. Um, it's another we'll see. I don't think it's going to be strong. Mankrik, decent, right? Maybe played. Decent, maybe played. Great card, gonna be played in some deck. Decent might be played. I think this card is trash. I think it's super bad. But I've been wrong before. So I'm gonna say it's bad for now. We'll see what we get. Might come back and change my outlook on this card. But thank you for watching. The next video will be up. It's here shortly. And then we're gonna keep covering cards as they come out. Now, thank you. Have a great one.